Hello and welcome to what's new in Microsoft 365 and Teams for May 2023. I'm Mark Thompson from Super Simple 365 and I'm going to take you through updates for OneDrive, Outlook, Teams, Whiteboard and a couple from around Microsoft 365. I'm going to cover maybe 16 full updates, but over on the website there's around 70, including links to a couple of blogs. This might be a little bit not rushed, but I probably won't hang around. You can probably just about see in the background I've got a reflection there of a Minecraft game ready to go. My 11-year-old daughter is practically banging on the door for me to get this video done and play for a while. So let's crack on. Folks, we're going to start with OneDrive and PDF annotations and interactable form fields in OneDrive Online. Okay, two parts to this website. First of all, it's the ability to edit your PDFs, and you can see on the screen there that you click on the edit button and then you can choose your pen. I meant to add, sorry, this is for writing, if that's not clear to you already. This is for writing on your PDFs. And the other one is the ability to interact with your form fields. So if your PDFs have got fields in for you to fill in, you can do that from inside your OneDrive as well. And folks, it's due early to mid-June 2023. Next up, we've got simplified sharing in OneDrive. So it seems to me that there's been a lot of updates to the sharing part of OneDrive recently. I'm hoping it will settle down. It just feels like there's been a lot lately. But this is the update for when you are sharing a document. So you can see here that we've got the scope of the share. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So you can see here we've got the scope of the share. You've got the ability to copy the link here, and when you do, you get like a notification, so you know you've copied it. So it just indicates that you've got it. And if you need to make changes to your share, click on the cog, and then you can go in and change the details of, can they download it, can they edit it, and the details for your share. Folks, that is due early to late June 2023. And like I say, we have got more coming up. So we've got a refreshed manage access experience. So this, I quite like the look of this. If we have a look here, we can see it's trying to be more people focused. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So we've got these tabs. So we've got the people we're sharing with, the groups that we're sharing with, and the links that we have used to share out. So that's probably quite good the way to split that up. So we can see a list of all the people that we shared here in the center, and then if I click on one of these, let's click on Stefan, you can see that over on the right hand side it shows all the details of the share that he's got and the access that he or she has. So you can drill down on groups as well. So I'm not clicking on it here, but you can see I'm highlighting the ability to go into the groups. And that, folks, was due early to mid-April 2023. And that's obviously out of date. I think that must be June. Okie dokie. So moving on to Outlook. So the Outlook on the web, work hours and location. So many of us are working partially in the office and partially at home, and this just means, or remote, and this just means, you can see on the screen there, let me just start that again. Okay, so this is going to run through again now. So you can see here that we're clicking on set a schedule, and I can tell it which days and times I'm in the office or I'm working remote, and it just means that your colleagues have got just so they'll know when to expect you in or when to expect you at home, and you can add multiple slots per day. So what else we got here? Once it's set up, your location will be shown also on your profile in Teams, and you'll see later we've got an update for that. But I think that's a really nice way to tell people whether you're working at home or remote. And COVID was a while ago, wasn't it? We all started working from home. Might be nice to see that before now, but you know what? Better late than never. I think that's a really, really good update. Due May to early June, so anytime now. And into Teams. So we've got Zoom controls whilst viewing a screen share in your Teams meetings and calls. So let's just have a close look down here. So down the bottom, this is what we're looking at. Let's get a closer look at that. So you can see here we've got the ability to zoom in, zoom out, and then just restore to the normal size. Due mid-July, but if you've got targeted release or preview, then you get that maybe about a month early. And I'm noticing there's a bit of a pattern forming there. If you are on targeted release, or you have your teams running in preview mode, a lot of these things, if they're going to appear in preview early, it tends to be about a month. Okay, so what else do we got? So we have also a change to your work hours allocation in Teams, in Microsoft Teams. So this is a follow-on from that previous one in Outlook. So you've got your schedule, and it might be that you want to change it on the fly. So all of a sudden you're like, I've got to go home, or you're going to go into the office. So you can just do your drop down. So you click on my photograph at the top, click this drop down with the building icon, and then I can say whether I'm remote or in the office, and it just updates it instantly. So available now for people with targeted release or preview, and it's going to be generally available to the rest of us early June to early August. Just got caught having a mouthful of tea then. Apologies, folks. Microsoft Teams is getting a new chat and channel search experience. Search results move to a new panel on the right hand side. So currently, when you search in Teams, you go across the top and you search, and it kind of takes over your whole screen, and then it just breaks your flow. You hear Microsoft talking about the flow of work a lot. It definitely breaks up your flow. Now I want you to picture this, and I appreciate it's not clear from the screenshot, but picture your screen, and then over on one side, over on the right hand side, you get this panel pop up so that you can do your searching without being taken out from where you are. So let's have a look at this. So we've got this panel that's popped up. Also, it might be that you are not a fan of pressing Control and F to search in the channel or the chat that you're in. So what you're going to get is, once you go into the information pane over on the right hand side, the little eye in a circle at the top is this Find in Channel button. And it just means that you can search inside that channel without using the shortcut keyboard shortcuts, and it will work in chat as well. And this last one here, it will show a caption of your search term. So you see here that the term August has been highlighted, just to make it obvious to you why that result is being shown. Due early to mid-June, so anytime now, folks. That's just it might seem like a small one, but I think that's going to just take one of the rough edges off Teams. Creation of a default Notes tab in new standard channel. So you might already be aware of this. Your organization's almost certainly been telling you about it. So new Notes tab added by default at the top of new standard channels. So remember, this replaced the wiki. Now it's interesting because the wiki used to be added by default to all channels, and then they stopped adding it by default, and I wonder whether there'll be a bit of pushback about every single channel getting one of these, and they'll stop doing it by default. Maybe they're just doing it initially to make sure everyone's aware of it. Anyway, so you create a new channel and you get that new Notes tab. It's going to be, it will use the default OneNote notebook. So your team has got a OneNote, so it's going to be created in there. A new section will be given the name of the channel. So hopefully it's easy to find, and that is due late May to late June this year. So anytime over the next few weeks. Breakout rooms participant shuffle. This came out quite early in May. It gives you the ability to randomly reassign participants before and during a meeting. Yeah, this is about 5 weeks old now, isn't it? So it just means that maybe you're in a meeting and you got a team, and I don't know, you got four groups, and you just want to just mix them up so they can start get to know each other, or have a fresh set of eyes on an idea. You can shuffle everyone, or only people who aren't already in. Say you got some newcomers, maybe you just want to shuffle the new 4 people evenly across those other teams, but you can do that and redistribute them across the rooms equally, and that is due by late June. Okay, what else we got? Microsoft Teams channel experience. You should be aware of this as well. If you work for a company, I would expect them to have been all over the change management for this and let you know that it's coming. But maybe they haven't. So this updates it. So actually, before I go into it, for as long, right, you can stop. Right, for as long as I've been involved with Teams, so it's about almost 5.5 years now. For the longest time, people used to say to me, "Why are the new things at the bottom, and why does it go like that?" And eventually, yeah, just like most blogs, the new stuff's at the top, right? And I've got to be honest, I don't know when that stopped because people just got used to it and people stopped questioning it. Anyway, so 5.5 or more years later, they've swapped it around. So your new stuff is going to appear at the top, and I'm already using this in preview. And folks, it just works. It just feels. The first couple of times it does feel a little bit odd, but it's so much nicer. Let's have a look at what we've got. So the compose box is at the top of the page. Most recent posts appear at the top. Posts can be popped out. So you've got an individual post, you can pop that out, and it behaves more like a chat. And it's going to make it more obvious that there's new activity in there for you as well. And that is due early to mid-June. If you're in preview, you've already got it. Don't fear that one, folks. It is much nicer. What I will say though, let me just come back on camera. What I will say though is when you reply to a post, so you see here we've got all these posts. When you click reply, it sort of goes into its own window. And initially, I felt like I was starting a new post at the bottom. So just look out for that. When you click reply, you blink and then you're in the screen. And you're like, am I replying or am I saying something new? So that might just be me, but that felt a little bit weird. But you know what? Very quickly, folks, you're going to really like that. Okay. So I'm a video on by default person when I'm in Teams meetings, and one of the three organisations I spend a lot of time working with are default on as well. But even there, we don't see together mode, so it might be that this change helps with that. So you can see here, let's have a look at the people on screen. So I can see in together mode, I can see that Charlotte has liked something I've said. She's got her hand up, and you can see some reactions here, and get all sorts of reactions to what's been said and done. Oops. What's going on? Okay, so I'm back in the room. So getting all sorts of reactions and there. And so maybe that's going to make it a little bit more engaging. I'm not sure. So we got the raised hands reactions to be shown. My own video feed will be removed from here, so I won't see myself. Maybe I was sitting over there, but that's going to be gone. Quite nice. I don't know. I'd be interested in the notes, folks. If you use Together Mode a lot, what your thoughts are on it. I don't personally. I don't know why. We just don't seem to use it. But let's have a look at when this is going to be. So we're looking at early to mid-June this year. Okay, so intelligent meeting recap for Microsoft Teams Premium. I wish I had Microsoft Teams Premium, folks, because this update looks awesome. Let's have a little look at what we've got. So we have got the recap area. So you're obviously going to get a version of this, the recap version for non-premium. But let's just have a look over here. So I've got my video feed down the right hand side, my content, okay, great. But I've also got my AI notes, that mentions are in there, suggested tasks, okay, so it's going to suggest some tasks. But also, look at this, I've got certain speakers and it shows me when they were speaking. So let's say I'm only interested in what my boss Mona had to say, and I can just jump to those sections, or maybe, I don't know, maybe more likely Mona works on the part of the project I'm particularly interested in, so I can just skip to those parts of it and get the updates from my project. Bit more on that, folks, over on the blog, but I just think that looks awesome. I think that's a really interesting quick glimpse of where AI is going to be taking us with our meetings, like the fact that we can jump to what's important, the suggested notes, the suggested tasks. So I think that all looks quite cool. And if you've got a premium, you should already have that. Okay, Microsoft Teams collaborative stage view. So this is quite specific to a certain type of thing. So this is for apps that are created inside Teams. Now, if you've got a card that appears and you've got a certain app, I can click on open, and then so I'm inside my channel, and you can see that this sales report has now popped open in its own window. Okay, its own collaborative stage view that I can work on with my colleagues. See, I've got it in the middle. On the right hand side, we have a conversation just about that thing. So it's for apps that have been built for a collab stage. And I've got to be honest, folks, I don't know much about the way people make apps for Teams, but that hopefully will mean something to you if that applies to you. Folks, that's due sometime this month. It should be here by the end of June. Okay, just a couple more. Okay, ink color picker for Microsoft Whiteboard. Okay, so applies to inking in Whiteboard. So maybe using your pen, you can select you can select your colors, your opacity. It's quite nice that it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be solid. Comes with all these versions of whiteboards, including Teams meetings, which is probably the most likely place I'm going to see it. Due early to late June. So Whiteboard's had a lot of love lately, and it's turning into a really useful app. If you haven't checked out Whiteboard recently, folks, if in your head it is still something that a 4-year-old would just scribble on, go and check it out. It has come a long way. So let's have a look at what else we got. Catch up, fly out updates for Word Online. I think this is the last one. So I'm in Word Online. I see this icon here. I want to be able to catch up. So it's split into two, so I can see the activities for me. This keeps me up to date with the activities, and I can scroll through this. But also, the second part of it is just a quick overview of the changes. So at a glance, I can see that there's been 30 changes, and I can display those if I want to. Okay, so Word Online, due by late June this year. And we're almost done. I appeared and disappeared very quickly there. Okay, so myself and Kirsty Brown, you might know that I work with Kirsty, and we do some videos over on the other channel, Mark and Kirsty banging on about Microsoft 365. We did a webinar with the Inform team talking about Microsoft 365 CoPilot, and we just talked about what it is and how we think that's going to manifest in each of the applications, so like in PowerPoint and Word and Excel, and just speculating about where that's going to go. There's a lot of speculation around it, and I can't wait to see it. But just use yourself thoughts. If you're interested in that, have a look at the notes, folks, and I'll hop you over to this page where you can the Inform page where you can watch that webinar. Okay, we are done. So what we're looking at, about 18 minutes or so, once I've chopped out a couple of bits where I was caught drinking tea, although maybe I won't. I'll just leave it in. Folks, you can keep up Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I'm spending more time on LinkedIn now. Doing a lot more updates over on LinkedIn. So please look me up. I think I'll put a link to my profile in the notes. Whenever I do an update there, I can put a bit more detail than I do in Twitter. Although, like a lot of people who do stuff online, I'm finding that a lot of this audience is going over to LinkedIn, and I'm getting more engagement over there. But that's just the way things evolve, isn't it? When there are significant changes to a platform. Maybe you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, hop over to the blog, and then every month you'll get this land in your inbox. And I don't send any spam. I only send you the monthly update about this. But for now, folks, we're done. Thank you for watching and listening. Hope you found that helpful, and I'll catch you next month.